Kristen walked in the icy blizzard towards home. She worried that Santa wouldn't be able to find her new home. It was such a tiny cabin that was almost obscured by trees in the little village of Lindbergh Mountain. How would Santa ever see it from the sky in this awful storm? She and her family had moved there because her daddy had lost his job, and there was no longer enough money to pay for their old house on Holly Hill in Chinquapin. And what a house it was! She missed her old bedroom with the deep windowsills that were just the right height to sit in and read and watch the birds outside. Her mommy made her soft cushions for the window seat, and Kristen would snuggle there for hours, sometimes with a hot cocoa, and sometimes she would even let her silly little brother Ryan sit with her. It was always so warm and safe in her old room, even on the coldest days of winter. The cabin was different. It was never really warm, and even though her mommy had worked so very hard to make it feel like home, Kristen could not forget the cobwebs, spiderwebs, and unfamiliar shadows on the walls that greeted them all when they first opened the door to the cabin on Lindbergh Mountain. The floors creak when you walk, and at night the winter wind shakes the old place. The bells on the necks of the flocking sheep sounded so nice in the day, but at night their ringing took on a melancholy tone, especially when mixed with the howls of the coyotes that sounded to Kristen as if they were as big as wolves. Her mommy and daddy talked about needing money for coal for the old stove, and they looked so sad when they read her Christmas list that contained the bicycle and watch and dozens of other things that Kristen had then thought were important. "Kristen, things will be different this Christmas," her daddy told her. "It is not like it was on Holly Hill. Your mommy and I will not be able to give each other presents, and I read in the Lindbergh Gazette that Santa won't be able to find his way to Lindbergh Mountain. But please believe me, the love that we all have for each other will more than make up for not having presents. This Christmas, we're going to pay special attention to the mountains of love your mommy and I have for you and your brother." "Don't worry, Daddy. I know that Santa will come just like every other year," Kristen said. And it was then that she decided to change her Christmas list and go and see Santa one more time. It was dark by the time Kristen got home, and she found her mommy stirring a big pot of vegetable soup on top of the old coal stove. Her daddy had found work that day chopping wood for old Mrs. Robbins, who lived in a big, fine house down the mountain. Her daddy was so happy to be working today of all days, and he took his earnings and bought enough coal to last for 3 days, and some potatoes and onions and celery and carrots so that Kristen's mommy could make some lovely soup. And he bought some apples, and he had just enough money left for a cinnamon stick so that they could bake the apples and sprinkle them with cinnamon. It wasn't a lot of food, but it would taste so good and keep them warm for a few days and make the cabin at least smell like a fine Christmas, like the ones they used to have on Holly Hill.